Assalamualaikum, guys.
Assalamualaikum everyone, and welcome back to our second episode.
Yes, today is the first episode of our new series, our marriage series, where we're going to be talking about all things marriage. And in the first episode, it's going to be everything pre-marriage, like all the getting to know somebody and the kind of stuff to look out for, red flags, the kind of questions to ask, all of that.
Yeah, I think this is the most interesting one because obviously I think a lot of the young ones are going to be like looking and talking to people and at the stage where they're like thinking about marriage and wanting to, know someone for marriage and stuff. So, yeah, I just know there's like a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
A lot to mention.
Yeah, and then all the post-marriage stuff we're going to be doing with people who are actually married so they can give us an accurate insight into marriage life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and quick disclaimer, if my uncles are watching this, please exit. I don't want you to listen to these ones because I feel so shy.
Aww. So cute, man.
Shut up. Okay, anyways, what was I going to say? Okay, so the first episode is going to be about getting to know somebody and the kind of questions to ask. So we've basically created a list with like different categories and the kind of questions to ask, and we'll just go through these.
Yeah, and even before asking questions, you need to be like kind of firm on what to look out for.
Yeah, you need to know, the kind of stuff that you want in your spouse is subjective, like a lot of it. So you need to think long and hard about what's important to you.
Yeah, and I've said it to so many people, and I always keep this to myself as well in mind, but please, like, have a mental checklist. Like, it doesn't have to be like 100 things and like all of the detailed questions and stuff. It should be just like the main things, like the main most important things. Like, does he, okay, like to me, example, I don't know about anyone else, but this is just for me, the main thing would be like deen. Like, does he care about his deen? Like, does he have fear of Allah? Does he, does he pray? Does he do this? And then second would be like, is he kind? Is he caring? And then like certain, I don't know, it could be for other people like cultural stuff and this, that, the other, about how they would fit into family and if their education and stuff is in check and stuff. But you should have like 4 or 5 things that initially off the bat you can look at someone, you can have one conversation with them and know, is this someone that I'm going to be interested in or not? If you kind of get what I mean. And then once you've completely sure that they've ticked all of those initial like 4 or 5 boxes, then you'd be like, okay, like now you can start speaking about all of the other details. But always make sure that you're looking out for the first initial 4 or 5 things, because I know some people, they just won't, they'll overlook it and maybe
problems later on.
Yeah, because they'll overlook one of the initial most important things that they know, like say as if, will they fit in the family, will the family accept, like will your parents accept who he is and or she is and stuff, and they overlook it and then start going into the other details, and then when it comes to actually speaking about it, it just doesn't work because you weren't you saw the first initial thing and you just like overlooked it. You get what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And, there's also things that you just don't think about until you're actually in the situation, but you need to look to other marriages and, like, for example, the minor details, like how often you can go visit your family after you get married and stuff like that. Like, those are the kind of things that not many people think to ask before marriage. And then when it comes to after marriage, it creates so many problems because it's like maybe the guy's idea of going out too much is like once a month. And for you, it's like once a week, and so then it clashes and then you have problems and whatnot, blah blah blah. So it's also important to ask the big important questions, but also to pay attention to the finer things as well.
Yeah. Once the big questions out of the way and you're initially obviously on the same page, then you go into all of these questions, because you're right, it's like questions you don't really think about. And even in the process of it, you probably just wouldn't think to ask all of those smaller questions.
Yeah, I think
because it's the big ones that really get you first. But obviously, once those are out of the way, then you've got time to ask.
I think the key thing is communication, and you have to be honest and open with the other person, and not try to sell yourself, because it's not it's not a business deal. Like, this is the rest of your life. You can't just paint yourself to be somebody you're not. If you want the other person to expect if you're expecting the other person to be honest with you, then you need to be honest with them as well.
Yeah, and don't try and change yourself for anyone. Like,
Yes.
that's so important. Be who you are. Stand on your own 2 feet. Before, this is what I was saying about like having the checklist before. Like, know who you are, know what you want. And that's another thing. Like, before you get married, like, you need to know who you are. Find yourself first. Know what you're, what you want and what you don't want. And then once you're aware of that, and you can fully say, okay, this is who I am, this is what I want, then you can like go ahead and start looking at the other person. Like, once you've looked at the other person, like, you'll know, like, once you know what you want, then like it will work.
Yeah. This is why, like, not that I'm against young marriages, but it's something that I struggle to like fully understand. When I say young, I'm talking about like 17, 18.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no, this is
Because
yeah,
my thing is, that your own character hasn't fully developed. So how do you know that the person you're going to be at 21 is going to be somebody that the other person is going to like, and vice versa?
But even now, yeah, like, I feel like at my age, however old I am at 22, some people will still say, oh, you're too young, like, you don't know yourself and this, that, the other, and you've
I
got
think
so
22 is
much
a good
growing
age.
to do. But no, I feel like I grew a lot, like, after sixth form and like during uni. I think that period, like sixth form, uni, is for a lot of people is when we all start to grow and become who we are because of our friends and whatnot and environment and stuff, and you kind of just find yourself on your own 2 feet. I think from then, like, there's not really much of life. I mean, obviously having a job and stuff after, but during that time is when you fully like develop and so yeah, 16, 17, while there's care in getting married young, I understand, but I would say there is like room for growth.
Yeah,
Personal
definitely.
growth.
Like, of course, I would always advise somebody to get married rather than being in a wrong relationship.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I just think that, when you're at that age, this stuff shouldn't even be on your mind. Like, you need to sort your career out and all of that. And
Yeah, once you know where you're heading and
Yeah.
like education wise, then it should be fine. Then you can start thinking about it. But
Yeah,
we're
definitely.
not trying to put anyone off it.
Yeah.
It's just like, be aware of the deeper realities, especially if you're that young.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, in terms of like now what you're looking for in someone.
Let's just go through
Or
like
whatever.
our list, and then we'll just talk about each one as we
Okay.
go.
Yeah.
So let's start off with. Should we start off with the person themselves, character first?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we've basically like created subcategories. Maybe we can put it up somewhere. Yeah, well, maybe try and put like you can screenshot it, and I'll put it up now. But basically, yeah. So, the first one is like themselves and their character, and the kind of questions you should ask in regards to that. And I think one thing that's so important is how they resolve conflict. Because in the regard, like, no matter what, inevitably you're gonna have bumps on the road. There's gonna be times when you're clashing and whatnot, blah blah blah. Which these are things that you can't really ever avoid. And what's important is how you come back from these sort of situations. Because mercy in a marriage is so important. I would say that's like one of the biggest things, to be able to have mercy upon one another and rahmah, and say, okay, this person has made a mistake, they may be slacked in some sort of way, but so do I, and so we need to overlook that. And when there is like some sort of clash and conflict, the other person, how they react to it, because there are so many different ways a person can react. It can be like they don't speak to you, which is so weird to me, or they like have a fear and they start shouting and whatnot, blah blah blah. And all of these things you need to know beforehand.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I went quiet then because I started deep in it because it's so true. I actually start crying, but I won't cry. That's like, it's mad. Like how people. It's scary, is what it is, more than that. Like, it scares me.
Proper.
I don't. Imagine like. I think I know you and I know myself. We're both like very caring people, and we'll overlook. We'll just. I know that myself as well. Like, I would just want to resolve the issue, and I wouldn't do like put a full fit and stuff like that. But obviously with the other person you can never know, and with guys, like, they obviously tend to have more rage than women do. Not to say that women don't, some women do, they go like really mad, like I know a few girls, I know a few who do get like really really mad at situations and stuff, but yeah, it's like it's a very scary thing, and it's like something you do need to ask, like how are you when you're angry, and how do you resolve it, like how do you resolve your anger, like do you like not speak to the person, or do you need like time away, and like you know,
Yeah.
because it's but then again, like some people sometimes you can ask it, yeah, and some people might sugarcoat it. I guess
Yeah,
you'll never
no.
really know until after, but this is the thing where the
No,
R
you.
comes.
This is another thing. Yeah, you can get inklings. Like for
Yeah,
example,
yeah,
the way
yeah, of
that they,
course.
treat. I don't
Other
know other
people.
people.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah, of
even
course.
a waitress at or at a restaurant.
And more so you will realize anyway whilst you're talking to them, and like say as if you're speaking about something and a condition or something and it angers them, you'll see it yourself in that
Yeah.
way. But then again, like I think the real nitty-gritty stuff comes after marriage, but that's you just have to make the man, like initially off the bat, if you've been speaking to someone and you can tell like how they treat people and how they behave, and initially how they respect you and talk to you and stuff like that, then you can already kind of tell the type of person they are. And
Mm.
then just have the trust in Allah that okay, it'll be fine, like once you get married and stuff, the anger like wouldn't be as bad or whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
um but yeah, it's just a matter of um looking out for it before, and making sure like you ask about how you are and how you deal with your issues and stuff.
Yeah, and just like make sure you find out how much sabr they have in some, like ask questions in regards to that, like how much patience does this person have, how quickly do they get angry, how often do they get angry,
Yeah.
how long does their anger last, because there are some people when they don't get pissed off very often, but when they do then it lasts a very long time and they hold grudges and whatnot.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
There's not nice types of people. I
yeah.
don't understand that. I don't understand how you could get
You
angry
know,
and keep it grudge like that. Why do you want to live your life like that? This is the thing.
no,
Like, why would
but
you even want to spend one day like that?
you know,
It
it's
confuses me.
it doesn't make sense, but for some people it's they just can't help it, like they just can't help but
Yeah, yeah,
not be
yeah.
able
Of
to
course,
let
some
it
people
go.
want. Yeah.
But yeah, um I was gonna say, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Character-wise, we're talking about how their behavior is.
Oh yeah.
This is where Dean. I think with all the categories is gonna relate to Dean, man. Like as
Yeah,
long as they have
something.
that and they understand what a man should be like in regards to Islam, then
Man,
you know,
man and
and
woman.
yeah, that's sorry. Just keep thinking about it. Sorry, because we're girls, obviously, we're gonna be thinking about that. But men and women, and you know, one thing that's a telltale like that personally, like I've seen and stuff is like, you know, if someone's like really interested in like say as if Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam or Aisha radiallahu anhu or Khadija, like anyone that's like, you know, like obviously our role models and everything, if someone takes interest in it and they know and they are interested in how they lived their lives, then you know you can kind of tell off the bat that how they're trying to be, like if they actively try to tell you, you know, like this is my role model and I look up to them, and they're telling you and they're like this is how I try to behave and conduct my life, that will tell you a lot about the person, and obviously it tells you how much they care about Islam and stuff and believe in it and carry it throughout their life. I think that's like a really nice thing for to look out for. Like if you ever have that conversation and you're just like, oh, so like, you know, who's your favorite role model in Islam? That can kind of tell you a lot about someone as well. Like
Yeah,
if you're having the
definitely.
conversation about like, oh, what's your kind of favorite prophet and this, that, the other, you'll
Mm.
learn like a lot. Like, oh, if you ask a girl like, who's your favorite like woman in Islam, it will tell you a lot. Like, and again, it goes to show their knowledge and you know how their character is themselves.
And as well as akhlaq, I think what they do in their free time, stuff like that, tells you a lot as well.
This
That
is
is
gonna
such an
tie
important
into
question.
friends. This is gonna tie into friends. Like
But
what
not
you do in
even
your free time. Like
outside of friends, like even when they're home, what do they do to relax? Like what is their idea
true,
of
true, true.
relaxation? Because, you know, if it's a hobby like football or whatever, then that's good. Like that's something that's positive, but it could be something else, like I don't know, listening to music which then you create a problem as well.
Yeah.
So that's also important.
It's
And
true.
yeah, and also just look out for their mannerisms. It's so important, like how they treat even people just around you.
And you can pick up if you were to like, I don't know, oh, you'll see signs of this, like whenever you're obviously when you're speaking to someone on a level like that and you're like interested, then you'll see the signs, like you'll meet someone, when you're out and about or with people or whatever, or even if you're just with family and whatever and you're speaking in that way, you can kind of pick up on how they treat people.
I just thought of something.
Yeah,
When
amazing.
like after, if say you've done something wrong, how do they apologize and how do they expect you to apologize? Because recently I've realized that a lot of people apologize without even saying sorry. Like their idea of just apologizing is just like being nice or like offering you like something and whatnot.
Yeah, do you know what people? Do you know what I don't like is like when you have an issue, and there's an argument and you don't. This is the thing. Communication is key.
Yeah.
Communication is so important in every type of relationship that you have in your life, whether it's friendship or obviously when you're speaking to a potential spouse. You need to be able to communicate. You need to be able to feel like you can tell them anything and you can speak about anything, because especially when conflicts and stuff arise, if you ignore it and you just okay, say as if a fight was to happen in the morning and then they come back in the evening, you just live life pretending it didn't happen, then it will pop up again, even if it doesn't come up in that instance and you choose to block it out of your life. The next time there's a fight, what they're going to do, they're going to bring it up because it's an unresolved issue, like it's still going to be eating in the back of their head. Like even if you don't speak about it, you might go about it and pretend like, oh, it's fine, blah blah blah, and just try and be happy in the moment, but it will still be on both of their minds, like the husband and the wife, like they will be thinking about it. So communication is so important. When something happens, you need to be able to both communicate about it and speak about what the issue is, and then resolve it in that issue. Do not leave it and do not let it grow and fester, because they might openly like look like they're fine when they're having the conversation or whatever, but it will be in the back of the head and then it can just manifest and grow into something really ugly.
Yeah, overthinking is such a disease, bro.
Yeah.
On the opposite end of the spectrum, it's also important to know how they express like any favors you've done for them, or like how they express their gratitude.
Stuff,
because your love language.
What's your love language?
So because, for example, like, okay, my dad, his love language is definitely like buying us stuff, gifts, taking us on holidays, whatever, blah blah blah. But that's not my love language. Like my love language is probably more like words and things like that. And so for me, when I was growing up, sometimes I felt like he didn't, and then mom would have to say to me, oh, but he's done this for you, he's done this for you.
That's the exact same.
And then it's like
it's the same with me, literally.
And then I only understood that after I understood what love languages were. And I was like, that's just his way of expressing it. And
I think most of our dads are like that, to be honest. I think that's just the way dads are. But the same with me, like it's all the small stuff that really matters.
But sometimes you just have to say it, because even though somebody may know that you love them or whatever, they may need reminders some days. And what harm does it do? Do you get what I mean? Like, you should just say it.
You should communicate it. Like, tell someone, if you feel something, you should just say it.
Yeah, whether it be good, bad, whatever, just say it.
Exactly, that's true. Oh, I love that, like the little love language thing, because it's literally the small things that matter the most.
Yeah.
Like if they're little words of affection or like reassurance, and then obviously when you're married, physical, like hugs and stuff and little things like that is so cute.
Yeah. What else? So many things got to do with character, bro.
There is a lot. This is why it's like a scary thing, but I think when you're in the instance and you've kind of had those, for us to sit here and speak about it is one thing, but when you're talking to someone, you can kind of collectively see, if you're looking out for it, you'll see like a lot of hallmarks and stuff.
You know what else people need to look out for is somebody who uses foul language, because that's such a big indicator of what their character is like. Yeah, we were speaking
about this the other day. I can't remember, we were speaking about it the other day, innit? And we were just saying that we could not stand. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah.
We were like, we can't stand like the foul language. Like you use one instance of, like even verbal abuse is just like, it's a no go.
Nah.
No
Forget verbal abuse. Even just like using foul language just in general, I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
You
It's
know,
disgusting.
so
Ooh.
much so that even if somebody around me uses it, I feel uncomfortable, even though
Yeah.
it's just a word.
Yeah.
Like I always get taken aback by it, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But that's another thing. Not even just them if they're using foul language, but even their family and their friends and whatnot.
Yeah. That's a
Innit?
bit weird. That is weird. But yeah, it's not. It may seem like, oh, it's like some people use it and it's not that deep and it's just like, in an instance or whatever. But if someone's using it like in that instance, imagine when they're angry and if they started just using that, oh my god, astaghfirullah,
You
no,
know-
God forbid.
You know, another thing that I've only recently come to realize is that people's idea of like, especially verbal abuse, is different.
What do you
Like
mean?
for example, like for us, I would see it as like abusive if you are like shouting at the top of your lungs, but then for other people that's just a normal way of communicating.
It's not right, to be angry like that. To
No,
get that
but
angry
you know,
with your spouse.
we think
Islamically,
that.
it's not right.
No, but we think that.
Yeah.
But there are some people, like for example, I know somebody who they don't even realize that they're shouting because that's just their way of talking. Like they don't realize that they're
That's
shouting.
mad.
And so then I realized, I was like, people's idea, like people's tolerance is completely different, and you need to establish what your own tolerance is and what the other person's is.
Yeah, that's true. This is the I don't know, like when you match with someone, I kind of feel like you'd kind of resemble each other, like
Yeah.
in a way, or you would want to, like you'd want to be similar in the same type of way. So if you like, as if so, we're both like don't really like that type of language. We wouldn't do it ourselves. That we wouldn't go speaking and using foul language or shouting at the top of our lungs and stuff. Like I just know we both wouldn't do that, and we're both against it. We would love to think that. I think when you do match with someone, they kind of will be inshallah on the same page.
Yes.
I mean, sometimes it obviously doesn't happen, but
Oh my god, it gives me so much
you attract
anxiety.
you attract what you put out sometimes.
Yeah, it's true.
Because how you are and how you behave is what you're going to get back and what you'll accept in that way, because
It's your standards that you keep for yourself.
exactly. And because of it's true when they say you attract what you put out, because
Yeah.
then you'll know what to push away.
Yeah.
Know the type of people and type of men and the type of women that you just will filter out of your life, and then the type of people that you will keep in your life. You know, so you'll kind of match in that sense. Well, inshallah, I pray we all do.
You know, another thing that a lot of people don't really like think to ask is house related questions.
Okay.
I didn't either until I saw
don't
something
really
on
think
Twitter.
about that either.
But like asking somebody, is there any like family diseases and things that I should know? Because I know of someone who got married to a person, and then after they like had kids, then they found that there's like some sort of genetic thing.
But you know, with some of that, sometimes they don't know it, like 'cause
No,
it's genetic.
they knew.
Oh, they knew.
Yeah, they knew.
Okay.
But it
Maybe
just
you
wasn't
need to do
mentioned because they just thought that it wouldn't come up, sort of thing.
Mm.
But you can't.
If it's
take
something
risks
big,
like
yeah,
that.
if it's something big like that and you know
Yeah.
about it, then you need to tell your potential.
Yeah.
Like you need to say, okay, look, this is instances where it's come up in my family
Like,
and like stuff.
For
then
example,
you tell them.
schizophrenia,
Yeah.
like things like that, you wouldn't really think to mention if like your grandparent had it or your parents have it or whatever, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But
It's
yeah.
something. Yeah,
You know,
that's
there
true.
are actually some people who are so evil that they would even like hide those things to like not basically get married to somebody.
That's evil. That's
That
actually
is
evil.
in it. That is so evil.
Fair enough, you don't know about it.
Yeah.
And stuff, but if it's like a genetic thing and you know it can be possibly carried on to your children and stuff, then like you need to have that conversation and tell someone about it. But do you know, yeah, okay, so another thing, like it's not really related, but it is kind of related to the thing. You know, when I was talking earlier about friends, that's such an important thing.
Yeah.
Like it's a major thing. Like it's because you know, like you know how I said before, like how when you're in uni and sixth form, like you get major character development and you become like the type of people you are. It's because of your friends.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
I think it's all good and well coming from a good Islamic family because obviously that matters at the end of the day. But despite that, I know people who have like had really good families and their parents are really good and stuff, but just because of the friends that they've made in sixth form and high school and stuff, and like uni and the type of people that they surround themselves with and where they go and what they do, they're just like completely opposites to how their parents are. And it's a really sad thing to see, but it will tell you a lot of things about the person. Like, if you can just look at their friends and know
Yeah, it's true.
how they spend their time. Like, are you the type of guys or girls, like, do you go to shisha bars all the time with your friends? Do you
Ew.
think do you think that's the only way you can spend time?
And do you
You know,
stay out
like-
till like 3, 4 a.m.? I don't get what boys do at that time.
Yeah.
What are you doing at 3, 4 a.m. outside?
Yeah, not
like,
outside. Sometimes, guys, like, they'll... Fair enough, you're going around to your friend's house and you're just...
No, even then, I'm
doing-
just like,
Really? If they're, like, playing games and stuff together.
sleep.
Yeah.
Like, sleep. You have your whole day.
Guys are
like,
completely different to girls, man. The way
I get
they
it if it's
are.
like one off, yeah, like you're doing
Yeah,
it, like,
yeah,
but
yeah.
every night
Oh,
if
no.
you're
No,
out
no, no,
till
no,
like
no, no,
3,
no,
4
no, no,
a.m.
no.
playing games
No,
and
no,
whatnot.
I don't... No. I don't know any guy who does that until, like, 3 a.m.
I
That's
used
fucking,
to, like
every
in
day.
uni, yeah, like
What?
they would meet up every single day. No, sometimes they wouldn't even be playing, or if it's like on COD and whatnot. And I'm like, really?
Not every day, man. Not every day. No. Once in a blue moon is fine. Like, obviously, you spend time with your boys.
Yeah,
if they're all
whatever.
halal, not halal, but you know what I mean? On
Yeah,
deen and
yeah,
they're
on
good,
deen, yeah.
good company is what
Yeah.
I mean by that. Then, yeah, by all means, but not like an everyday thing. That's
Do
really
it during the
gross.
day.
Yeah.
Like, why are you
Not
out
even
till
during the
3,
day.
4
Like, you don't need to
a.m.?
be doing that every day constantly with someone, you know?
Innit?
I don't know.
Anyways, that is such a weird thing to me because I'm like, sleep, bro.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Like, friends is important because that again tells you like what do you do with your friends, you know?
What else in regards to friends? There's so much.
There is. It's like, what do you do together? You know, the type of friends who will remind you of Deen and fix you when you're going wrong. Like, do they promote you? Do they remind you of Allah? Those are the type of people. Oh, I love those types of people. That when you can have conversations with them, they'll remind you of Allah
Like, ask
and
questions
religion and
like,
stuff.
yeah, ask questions like, what do you like about your friends the most? And what
Yeah.
do you not like about your friends? Whatever, blah, 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 like, things like that. Because then you would be able to get, like, an idea of what their character is like as well.
Yeah, it's true.
Also, you know, this is something that wouldn't even cross my mind, but I've realised that with this generation it's so important too. Asking the question of if they have friends of the opposite gender. Because that's a complete no for me.
Yeah.
Like, okay, for me, for example, me being somebody who isn't in communication with any of the opposite gender, that's like not my mahram,
Yeah.
for me, that's like a no, like vice versa. So, do you
Same.
get what I mean? Like, there are so many people,
No,
yeah?
it's true. It's
Let me
true.
tell you what happens.
This is another thing,
Yeah.
the conversation to have because
You know, I know
Don't think about
somebody,
it.
yeah, like, okay, so they got married to somebody who had friends of the opposite gender, and after they got married, they expected that person to basically cut those friends off.
Yeah.
But then my thing is that why are you even...
Why are you waiting to get married to then be like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna cut them off for you? Yeah.
Not even for that person. For that person, yeah. But even for the other person, why did you even get involved, or why were you even like looking to get married to somebody who is friends with the opposite gender if that's not something that you condone?
Yeah. And
Innit?
and it's also like if you knew that from before, why would you not tell them to fix that before? Why are you saying to wait till marriage? You know?
Yeah,
Like, because even when you're talking in marriage, like, you just have respect and understand. Okay, this is the person. Yeah, no, I completely don't like that. I don't like that. I don't
Yeah.
like because the way you are is basically how I am. Like, everything that you say is the same as me. I don't speak to guys like that either. Like, I have friends that I've obviously made like when I was in school and stuff, like, but I don't speak to anyone like on a day-to-day level where I'm or call or meet up with any guy like that by myself. I find that really
Yeah.
weird. I would never do that. I feel so uncomfortable. Like, now I feel so uncomfortable thinking about meeting any guy like that by myself or a friend like that. No, I wouldn't do it unless there was like a whole group of everyone and like girls and stuff. Even then it's like weird. So, and I just don't do that. I haven't done that like in a good few years. Like, you know, I just feel very uncomfortable with that type of stuff. So for a guy, I would not be okay if they had like a really close girlfriend and then they were just like meeting and they met up all the time and stuff
that is
like
disgusting.
That's
Forget that.
Yeah,
Even
it's true.
for me, because of the standard that I've set for myself, I would want somebody I would want to meet somebody of that sort of standard, like near about it, because I'm like, okay, so for me, I don't have any guys on social media at all. So why would I then marry somebody who does and then create an issue for myself. Like
Yeah,
that would
it's
be
true. Have the standards that you had
yeah.
set before and look out for someone. Yeah. So exactly, this is the thing in it about being someone who's mirroring you, like the
Yeah.
kind of way you are and how you are. So fair enough, like you don't have any guys on social media and stuff, and you just wouldn't speak to anyone like this. Me, like I have people on social media and stuff, but it's not like I don't speak to anyone. So even for me, I would be, looking at the same kind of things. Like, okay, like it's fair enough you know people and stuff like this, but there's no need for anyone to be going out of their way and meeting people and meeting
Yeah.
girls like that and talking to them like that. Especially, if you're on a level where you're trying to get to know someone for marriage, I think it's just disrespectful. Like, why are you talking to entertaining other people? Some people
Also,
don't see that way though, like
I
especially in our
know.
generation, they find it weird.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, no, it's not weird. We're speaking facts right now.
Yeah, also, yeah, another thing is, what do you want your spouse's relationship to be like with your friends? Because there are some people who are like, there are some people who would be like, don't even come near them. But then there's other people who are like, come over, let's bring whoever and let's all have a meal together at a house, whatever. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So say, for example, you were married with your husband and you invited me over, and how would you expect me to carry myself around your husband? Would you send him out? Would you leave him in, like, would you expect us to have a friendly relationship? Things like that you also need to discuss.
That's mad. Yeah, I didn't even do that. But the thing with that is, if you have a really, really close friend, like obviously I have close friends who I call my sister and stuff.
Am I one of them?
Yeah, you're obviously. So with you, like I would trust you, and I would get to the point where I would trust my husband. But then again,
You have to have boundaries, obviously.
There's limits in place. But obviously, if you're surrounding yourself with those type of people, you would have that trust.
Yeah, of
But
course.
even then, it's not like it's gonna be an instance where, oh my god, I'm gonna like let you guys go out by yourselves and
obviously
link
not.
all the time. Like obviously there's gonna be exactly. We're both the same. This is what I'm saying. Like. But that's just weird if other couples are. I don't.
Move on from this
okay, yeah.
topic.
Okay, let's go.
Because it's dragging on.
She's
for
getting
so
so.
long.
Okay, I go.
Okay. What's the next topic? Family.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
What's their relationship like with each member of their family?
Yeah, it's important to look out for that. How they treat their mum, and how. Okay, so when you're getting to know someone, another thing that I found is like a sweet thing. Like it says if you're praising how they are and stuff, and they're constantly bringing it back to their mum, like, and not anyone else, it kind of tells you the respect that they have for their mum and their dad and whatever, and how they've been
Giving
raised.
credit where it's due.
Yeah, exactly. Like not a lot of people do that. Not a lot of people will bring it back and say, oh yeah, it's all down to my mum and and everything. They'll just be like, yeah, man, thank you, blah blah blah, but they won't acknowledge that it's who it is and who was the cause of it or whatever. And I think it kind of tells a lot, like, of how they are with their family and the relationship and everything, and the way they respect them, because that's respect, isn't it? Like if you're saying
definitely.
all my good traits are coming from my mum, then obviously you respect them, innit? And I think that's a really beautiful thing. It's really nice when a guy or a girl says that. But yeah, not even just with their mum, like how if they have sisters and if they have brothers, like how are you with them, and how are you with your dad, and
And then I think the next thing is, what do they expect of your wife? Because there are some families who expect, like, the daughter-in-law to take care of the entire family, to cook, to clean, to wash the clothes, to iron the clothes.
Do you think that still happens in this generation though?
100%.
Really?
100%.
I haven't even deep that.
I don't know if it's just more like prevalent in my culture than yours, but it's still very much a thing. Like,
Really?
In our culture, if a girl gets married, she has to live with the in-laws for like a year minimum. Yeah, so that's like a must, because if like the guy and the girl were to move out straight away, then there's always like this whole issue
They'll probably
surrounding
think
that
that
they don't get along or whatever. Okay,
That's
that's
weird.
fine. Yeah, I don't even mind. I would stay for however long.
So
But when they are living, like during that period of their lives, when they're living basically at his mom's place, there's so much expectation from the women. Like, oh my god, like they're expected to basically take responsibility over the house, even if they're working, that's never gonna change. Like, it's mad. Like, I know this from like my own family, how one of somebody I know basically is full-time like she's fully employed. She has her degree, she's working. She's still expected to do everything even though her husband works from home.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't know if that. I think it does happen in my culture as well, but I just don't really. Maybe I haven't been exposed to it and I haven't really seen it that much myself, so I don't really think that it goes on. But I do believe that it does go on.
Yeah.
That's mad.
You know, that's reminded me. You have to also ask, like, how are you gonna divide like housework and work, because if, for example, we're both working, then like logically it should be 50-50, innit?
Yeah.
But then there would be some guys, not even their families, it would be some guys who would expect their wives to still do
It's the way
everything
they've
at
been
home.
raised, though, isn't
Yeah.
it? That's another thing. It like goes back to understanding who their mum and their dad are and what their
my God.
cultural things lay, because then that's how the more time is how the son will pick it up,
Yeah.
because they'll expect the same thing of their wife. If they see what they've grown up with, they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm just getting a woman who's just gonna come and do everything for me.
Yeah. You know, if you're a guy listening to this, I doubt any guys will be listening to this, but if you are a guy listening to this, please know the basics. Like, you should know how to wash a dish. You should know how to create a simple dish for you to live on, because it's literally a survival instinct, isn't it? Like, oh yeah, okay. When I was saying survival instinct, what am I talking about?
Yeah, you should survival instincts. So the guy
Yeah,
needs to know how to cook
yeah.
and clean
The
and
basics,
everything.
basically.
Yeah, no, of course you should know how to do it yourself. Like, be aware of.
Yeah.
Don't go into a marriage thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna just get my wife and she's gonna do everything for me and stuff. Like, understand where your duties lay and how you can help your wife out. That's another love language, man. Like, you can. That's like a love language in itself. Like, thinking, okay, yeah, like I've got this wife, but how can I support her? How can I just break down this barrier of thinking that she has to do everything and I'm just gonna sit there like some king and stuff? Like, fair enough, the wife does it. Obviously, she will do it out of love sometimes and stuff. But yeah, it should be 50-50. Like, if you love her, and then you should like be willing to put in the same thing, like want to do it for her and stuff. You know, especially if you're both working.
Yeah.
If you're both thinking, like, you should understand, like, not to say that, oh my god, a wife should never cook and clean and don't do it and stuff. Like, we understand, but you should just balance it out.
Yeah. You know, another thing that I realized we completely missed in regards to character is asking somebody like what their toxic traits are, because everybody has toxic traits. I know mine. I know mine off the bat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
that's true. You need to ask someone what their toxic things lay and what they struggle with.
Yeah.
Oh, what was one that I was...
How they react to stressful situations. Not necessarily like them being angry, but even just like stressful situations when there's like things going wrong and whatnot. How do they react?
Yeah.
And cope with all of that.
And then that's like that. You know, that kind of ties in like with this thing where you could ask someone like what are their addictions. Oh, because it's like that's another toxic trait in it. Like, what do you do constantly that you feel like is a bad, like, so for some, say as if you were talking to a guy, they could be like, oh, I have an addiction and I'm just constantly playing this PS4 video game. Yeah, they play it on their PS4, PS5 all the time. Like, that could be another like obviously unhealthy addiction where they feel like they constantly need to be playing on that and stuff. Like, there's just little things like that. It may not be that example, there could be like something else, but it's just something that you can like obviously think about. And
what they can improve on, because it's, you know, there's always going to be something you can improve on, and you need to be able to know what that is.
Yeah, or I think that's a really another beautiful conversation to have with someone is like, where do you think we can grow together?
Yeah.
Like, if you understand each other and you can see how your personalities are now, you can just look and see like, okay, taking this relationship forward, like obviously we're going to be growing together, creating a family together, like where do you think we can like improve together? Like, maybe there's somewhere that you're both lacking on, like whether it's deen or whatever in worldly life, and you can just say, let's have this goal and build goals together and like work towards it. I think that's another really beautiful thing. And like also uplifting each other. Like you need to be each other's support. Like throughout that. Like if you've got the
Definitely.
goals and stuff, and your spouse has a certain goal that they're trying to achieve, then like you need to be their biggest number one fan. Like
Yeah.
the biggest supporter. More than obviously they're gonna have their mum and their dad and everyone who's been rooting for them, but you need to also be their fan and look out for them, man. Like obviously if you win that relationship, you should be uplifting each other and helping each other reach their goals and stuff like that. But I think that's like a really nice conversation to have and say, okay, we've talked about the bad stuff and the other stuff, but it's like now it's like what can we work and grow on together. That's pretty now.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I hope that didn't get in. What was I gonna say? I think having like what's the word? Being like self-aware and having like moments that you, not even just for the other person but for yourself as well, having self-reflection, that's what it is. Reflect upon the things that are good about you, the things that are bad, and the things that you need to improve on.
Yeah.
Also you need to ask like what are the sort of things that are completely off limits and completely like it can never run, because that is like very subjective for a lot of people. Like for example for us, something that would be completely off limits is like shouting and screaming at one another.
Yeah.
But then for other people that might not be the case.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, so all of these things you have to think about yourself before you meet somebody.
Yeah, do you know what? Yeah, we can put up a list of like questions and stuff that we could, on whatever, on our Insta, whatever, and you can have a look at some of the questions. But a lot of other questions you can sit, like, even if you have notes or something on your phone, you can like make a list yourself of like what you would expect of a potential of like a husband or wife. But yeah.
What was I gonna say? I'm not cutting that out. I'm not cutting that out.
You're so kind out.
I'm not cutting that out. It's gonna sound weird if I cut that out. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, if you meet other family members as well, I'm sure you will at one point ask the family members how they would describe him as well.
Yeah.
That will tell you a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, in regards to children, people may think that children is like... Actually, should we leave the topic of children, Islam, and what's left? Career.
Yeah.
And like goals and stuff for the second part. Because it's 45 minutes.
Okay, see guys, you can just talk about it for ages and ages and ages because there's so much ground to cover.
Literally. There's still career, finance, goals. All of that.
It's a very long-winded topic to talk about.
So we will see you guys next week.
We'll see you. No, I was just gonna say that we'll carry on in the part 2, innit?
Okay. Yes. So we'll see you guys next week, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Okay, Assalamualaikum everybody. Do you want to say salam?
Oh yeah, why am I... You said salam and I was going to say, welcome salam. I don't know why, that's like an automatic thing. But yeah, salam everyone. Assalamualaikum.